Oh my gosh, people of the world, marketing as a foreign language today, a very special edition of MFL because I am speaking at Roseman University in 30 minutes, which means today's episode is going to be 15 glorious minutes. Yes, and I'm going to be answering the questions that I'm going to be answering at 11 for the Roseman University guest lecture. Oh my gosh. Why don't we hit the intro? Yeah, intro. Okie dokie. All right, again, in 30 minutes, I will be standing in front of a bunch of orthodontic students. Yes, what are they going to want from me? For me to answer the following questions. In your experience, what has been the most effective mix of marketing methods for a startup to gain traction? Is question number one from the orthodontists and Dr. What's his name? It's going to be Dr. You guessed it, Nwakanma. Easy to pronounce, so much fun. What is the most effective mix of marketing methods for a startup to gain traction? Well, that of course depends on the startup. Let's pretend that the startup is an orthodontist's office. Can you imagine that? Well, then you're going to want Google My Business to be absolutely kicking butt. You're going to want as many Google reviews as is humanly possible. You're going to want to be doing Google posts on your Google My Business profile. You're going to want to add copious amounts of pictures to your Google My Business profile. You're going to want a blog on your website. You're going to want to be ranking, or rather checking your rankings. You can use something like QRank. We use something called agency analytics. If you currently rank, let's say, position 100, do not expect that within the year you are going to be getting much SEO traffic. If you rank in position 10, oh me, oh my, then perhaps you are close. You need to know the search volume of the keywords you're targeting. For example, if you're an orthodontist in Summerlin, there may be 50 people searching for orthodontist Summerlin, whereas there are 500 people searching for orthodontist Las Vegas. And so if you rank 70th for orthodontist Las Vegas, but 8th for orthodontist Summerlin, might I recommend you fight for orthodontist Summerlin. You can add 30-second videos to your Google My Business profile, so maybe you should do precisely that. Also, you are getting a good look at my calendar there. So what is the most effective mix of marketing methods? That is an incredibly long question to try to answer. Pay-per-click has to be a part of that mix. There's something called a call-only ad, which I highly recommend people take a look at. Why? Because you only pay per call. How is that a bad thing? It's probably not a bad thing. Let's say you're an orthodontist and the price, rather the return on investment of an orthodontic patient over 5 years is like $50,000, or maybe it's $10,000. Let's say it's $8,000 and you're spending, I don't know, $70 on a call. Is it worth it? Perhaps it is. Perhaps the cost per call is $30. You can't know unless you try. And then there's all of these different orthodontists out here. Look at these guys. Truman Orthodontics, caring for your braces. They're blogging, because of course they are. Was your car spotted in June? Check here. Why does that matter? To Truman Orthodontics. June cars are here. Make sure to check out all the cars this month. Please claim your car to be put into the drawing. Don't forget the patient's name. If you need a magnet, stop by the office. What is happening here? They're doing some kind of something. You get a magnet? What are you winning here? I want to win free braces. Is that a thing? Let's look at this blog archive. All they've been posting every month here at Truman Orthodontics, all the way back to 2010. They took a brief hiatus, as you can see, from 2010 to 2014. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And then, of course, they're making videos. These videos are largely garbage. Normally, these videos are like stock footage videos that people like download from places, but these look custom. Oh my gosh. Look at this. Look at this footage. That is actually kind of terrifying. I don't like it. Motrin? Hold on. Why is there a Motrin ad? What? Hold on a second. Wow, they're plugging Motrin in their video here. That's a custom Truman Orthodontics ad, so that's actually pretty good. That's actually pretty good. On the YouTube channel, which, again, I've said everybody needs a YouTube channel. For Truman Orthodontics, we've got playing drums makes Dallin smile? What makes people smile? See, you really got to dig deep if you're going to try to make videos for things like orthodontics. If you want to go viral for orthodontics, scootering makes Chanel smile. Quad racing makes TJ smile. Do you see just how far you have to go? The lengths you have to go to create video content. Now the question here is, are they linking from the description? They are not. They should be. So right here in the description of your YouTube videos, you want to include a link, https:// blah, 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 blah. So there's that. Scootering makes Chanel smile. Fantastic. All right. So that's question number 1. Question number 2 is, what was the greatest challenge you experienced when creating first startup? So that is not proper English, but I will answer. What is the greatest challenge I experienced when creating first startup? First startup, let's see. We had a real estate investment company, and it went well. So what was the greatest challenge? Probably the fact that we were trying to be landlords, and being a landlord is incredibly hard when you're 21 years old. How old was I? No, I was 23. I was a landlord at 23 years old. We bought a duplex in Minnesota, St. Paul, and the folks who lived above us were a variety of different folks. Renting to friends, we did that. All sorts of different friends. And yeah, being a teacher during the day, landlord all the time, that was tricky. So what was the challenge I experienced when creating that first startup? I don't know if that's the kind of a startup they're looking for. But I would say that the challenge for Kautzman Properties LLC, which still exists, by the way, was the stress of managing 2 jobs simultaneously. Even though landlording, obviously, is not too stressful. When it is stressful, it's very stressful, which is to say, the stress. If I do a Black Friday deal for orthodontics, so now we're getting into the weeds, where I only accept cash, but discount the cost by 40 to 50% to try and build the practice, but get patients in, then through their experience with me, will spread the word about the practice. Is this a good marketing plan, or will I be attracting the wrong clientele and every patient will be looking for a deal? Okay, so the question is, Black Friday deal, orthodontics, cash, 40 to 50% off. I feel like if you are an old practice that you've been around the block for a while, then no, you don't necessarily need to do a Black Friday deal at all, which of course would go against the fact that you've been charging. I mean, how do you charge somebody like $6,000 on Tuesday and then $3,000 on Friday? That just seems crazy to me. Now, if you're a new practice and you don't have that many customers or clients or patients, I think would be the word used to describe your customers in this particular instance. If you don't have that many patients, then yeah, you do everything you can to get people in the door, and I get that. But if you've been around for a while, I think this is a mistake, because if I paid full price and then I realized like 2 weeks, if I just waited 2 weeks, I would have saved $4,000. That would make me very, very upset. I'd be like, why wouldn't I have just waited? You should give me the deal. I would be a crabby pants. No one wants that. So is it a good marketing plan? No, because you're probably going to get your Google reviews hammered by people who are like, yeah, I probably should have just waited a week and spent $4,000 less. And then the clientele that you attract for this sort of thing, I don't know. I mean, just because you are looking for a deal doesn't mean that you don't have money. It just means that you're a savvy purchaser of services. So I don't know if you'd be attracting the wrong clientele. If you are in a nice part of town, which is to say a part of town where people have a lot of money, high net worth part of town, and you run this sort of deal, no. If you're in a part of town where people are really struggling, well, then maybe you should just lower your prices in general. I don't know if a 40 to 50% off deal would attract the wrong kind of clientele. I hear people complain about Groupon all the time. People are always whining about Groupon. They're like, I can't do it without Groupon, but I can't bring people in. Well, then there's a fundamental business problem if you're relying on Groupon for all of your business. People just hate Groupon. They get it. You know what? Here's what I think happens. You get addicted to Groupon because Groupon is so easy and you get a flood of business. It feels like you're busy, and you are. But, if you're not profitable, what's the point? Question number 4. If starting an office from scratch, what type of marketing would you suggest for getting people in the door? Well, as I mentioned, you really want a fleshed out Google My Business profile, and you're really going to be running Google ads. You can consider Facebook ads targeted to a demographic, say like moms ages 25 to 45 in your area that are like soccer mom-esque type folks that are interested in, kids soccer, that sort of thing. Might be an interesting demographic to target on Facebook. And then you could create ads specific to that target demographic to try to get people in for like a free this or a free that. Like, we'll do your first visit free. That's what I would do. Some big sort of thing, but targeted specifically to say like the local soccer students. So like if the little Tiger Cubs local soccer team, you can target those moms. I mean, that would make sense to me. I mean, you might get 1 or 2 or 3 patients out of that, but you could target all the local clubs in that way. It would be hyper specific. I think the moms would be like, oh, that's really cool. But you might have to talk to the club and see if you can advertise in that way without them getting too crabby. If you are buying a practice, well, I should finish this answer with a bit more. What type of marketing would you suggest? So that's Facebook. There's Google ads. You want to be blogging, obviously. You want to be creating YouTube videos, obviously. You can create content on LinkedIn just for the link. You can be tweeting, but it's not really going to do much for you. Instagram isn't really a great option for orthodontists, I would argue, because it's not a very visually appealing sort of business. So what else could you do to market? You might consider joining like a BNI group, network marketing, that sort of thing, just to get your face in front of folks. And then on your Facebook page, you want to make sure that you go in and invite every single person you've ever known. And if you have employees or people that are dedicated or want to see you succeed, you can make them managers of the Facebook page and have them invite their folks as well. There really is no quicker way to get 100, 200, 300 initial Facebook likes than to literally send the invite saying, please like me. That tends to work. If you are buying a practice and transitioning the older doctor out, what type of marketing would you want to do? Also, if they have been in the community for 30 years and they have name recognition, would you suggest changing to your name soon or hold on to their name for brand recognition? A great question about if you buy, let's call him Dr. Medina. You buy Dr. Medina's super orthodontics clinic of the best orthodontistry ever in the world. And you're wondering whether or not you should change the name from Dr. Medina to your name. Now, if Dr. Medina is still there, you could begin the change. It all depends on what the revenue looks like. If you're doing well, if you're well above what you need, and you can deal with a hemorrhage of say 10 to 15 to 20%, then fine. You need to understand that there's going to be a cost incurred on the website. You're gonna have to change your Google My Business. You're gonna have to change your Yelp. Your NAP, which is name, address, phone number, is going to change across every single directory that's ever been created by anyone at any time for your business, because literally the name is going to change. The business cards are going to change. But that being said, if you keep the name, which I would argue you probably should if you were starting today because pandemic, if you keep the name and people come in and realize that that doctor isn't there, you could make the argument, hey, we don't want to rock the boat right now. I just want you to know that that doctor is no longer here. I am the new doctor, and we do plan on changing the name of the practice. And I would probably have that conversation with as many patients as I could, but only once I've had a chance to actually meet them, talk to them, establish some sort of rapport. Oh my gosh, it's already 10:44. This is a super fast episode. Why? Because in 15 minutes, I'm going to be delivering whatever these answers are to these Roseman University students so that they may make all sorts of orthodontic best decisions. Don't forget to hit that like button if that's something you feel inclined to do. 10:44. Oh, call it 10:45. Look at that timing. I'm out. I got to go. Got to go prep for this thing. Thank you so much. Much appreciation. We'll see you next time. And what don't we hit that outro? Who doesn't love an outro? Oh, outro. Oh, yeah. So much outro.